Hello, everyone, and I'm back. I apologize. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty with my microphone. I had to restart my computer. I did have that severe thunderstorm warning posted up at the beginning, so hopefully you could see the reason why I was jumping on. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now. It's currently around, uh, so it's for Ray, Meigs, Bledsoe, and Roane County, Tennessee, for hail that's been seen around 1.5 inches. It's since it's so it's over here right now, located. As this updates, it's going to be near Highway 127 right there. Uh, it's now stating 1 inch hail. I'm thinking this initially came out on a little bit earlier for this section right here, but this section of the storm is continuing to strengthen, and I think it's going to create the same um, hazards. So, wanted to jump on that. We're also getting a flood warning in that area because this storm is dropping a lot of rain very quickly. Rainfall between 2.5 to 3 inches has occurred, and this storm is just kind of sitting there over the same area. Then more uh, little cells are building behind it, just training right over that same area. So, flood warning, that's a very significant amount of rain to have dropped in a very short period of time, just like an hour or so. Tolerance for a lot of our area is about, 2.5 to 3 inches per hour. So, uh, definitely right here around this corner of Bledsoe County and Ray County, and it's saying over as well towards Meigs and Roane County. Definitely expect flooding conditions and surface flooding on the streets. Highway 127's probably got some significant standing water on it, as well as around Highway 68 over here. Uh, so that's all we really have on the map right now. We do have some, a couple of storms building over here in North Carolina, and then to our west we have these cells building. We've got one around Lewisburg, one around Smyrna area. Uh, so these storm cells are going to continue to build. We have a small light one over Dunlap right now, making its way towards the corner of Hamilton County, Ray County, and Meigs County. Uh, so, Graceville, Sale Creek, Dayton, Tennessee area onto Decatur. I would expect this storm to start strengthening, and we'll take a look at that. We also have a little section of rain popping up in the Lua area around the interstate, more on the. This is going to be pretty close to like Hunter Road. So, these storms are going to start building. They're going to continue gaining some strength, and like I say, the primary risk we have today is going to be large hail. Um, if you look at the SPC map, which you can go to spc.com, or just type in SPC in Google, and I can pull it up. I'll try to pull it up here in a second. And these screens I've been working in, I need to get a screen set up where I can pull that up easily. Anyways, tell you what, let me go ahead and pull that up, and I'll demonstrate that for you. All right, so we are going to. Let's just do this. I'm going to create a new. Give me just a moment. I'm going to create a new source here. Okay, so here I've got the SPC map pulled up. This is one tool that we kind of broadly use to look at storms coming in and conditions developing throughout the day. And again, this is, you'll hear them say we have a slight risk or we're a 3 out of 5, and that's what this is showing. But I wanted to click over on the hail threat. When you see this cross-hatched area, as it describes lower, it says hatched area, 10% or greater probability of 2-inch diameter hail or larger within 25 miles of a point. So that's going to be really the largest risk for today. Yes, these storms are going to have some, winds. We got a 15% chance of severe winds in this area. But really that increased chance of large hail is, the significant threat that I wanted to look at for today. All right, so let's go back to the map. So we got another radar scan coming in. I expect it to show some changing right up here in location and severity. Yeah, so it just got stronger. You're starting to see those purples, showing that more significant hail is developing within this storm. This is going to be crossing, Highway 127 near Melvin, Tennessee, Lytton, Burke, those areas. And yes, that severe thunderstorm warning has expanded to that size. So it's now saying 1 1/4 inch or $half size hail. We often use coins and then sports balls to communicate sizes of hail because it's quick, it's easy, and it's fairly standard. Where you say an inch, an inch is a set size, but sometimes it's difficult to think about an inch and then translate it to the actual size of something, unless if you have a ruler or a measuring tape on you at all times. So you can kind of relate it to, coins and sports balls. And that's what the National Weather Service actually trains their storm spotters to communicate. All right, so let's go to the HRRR model. And you can see it's currently projecting that storm area. And that kind of shows you a difference between models and what actually happens. The model has this storm further north and smaller, but you can kind of see there's like a little bit of, the speck of something over here. You've got to watch those models and kind of learn what you think is going to happen and how broad of an area you want to discuss. So this is current for 5 p.m. and we will step forward. I'm going to move through, and you can see, just because this looks clear in this area does not mean it's going to be clear. When you have these little spotty sections, that means you have the possibility of things forming honestly anywhere within this area. But as we progress forward, we see 9 p.m. we start to see more organized of a storm system moving in and making its way through. And then, by 3 a.m., everything's completely gone. There's been some variability in, the timing and the actual conditions. If you look at the NAM3 model, it shows more down around Hamilton County, Bradley County area, and around Georgia at 5 p.m. And then, as you progress, it shows more building down around here. See how this is making its way into Georgia. So, things are going to be pretty widespread. They're going to be spotty until later this evening when we have a more organized system. And then at that point, it's still going to be a little, hit and miss. So I wanted to be clear that, just because it's not storming over somebody right this minute doesn't mean it's not storming somewhere else. Uh, it looks like this little section that's around, Ooltewah moving into Collegedale, moving into Cleveland, is starting to get a little bit larger, starting to develop. That storm's kind of picking up in its size. Over the next 20, 30 minutes, this may become, a stronger storm and start to develop some hail. We also see this storm around Dunlap. It's actually kind of dropping in energy, so keep an eye on it. But it's really going to be kind of a shooting gallery of storms this evening. My son has a game here in about 2 hours. So after this, my updates are going to be primarily text updates. I just wanted to jump on here, have a quick chat with y'all. So Shay, Arnold, you were asking about Dalton. So for the Dalton area, we're looking at around 12:30, 1 a.m. for those storms making their way across. Hey, how's it going, Sean? Let's see here. I'm going to expand my chat screen here a little bit so I can see better. No, I don't see any reason for anybody to need to sleep in the basement tonight. There is a very, 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 and I'll put emphasis on the word very, low risk of tornado threat, but that risk is going to be primarily earlier in the timing, when we have these more, individual storm cells. As we go on into the evening, that tornado threat is going to drop and it's not going to be as much of a risk. So no, I don't see any reason to, go and sleep in the basement tonight. Chad, yes, the storms are going to be widespread and scattered at first, and then we'll probably have a more developed system coming in later. Looking through, if you have any questions, make sure to get them in to the chat section right now so I can check them out and answer them. I'm going to hang out here for another couple minutes, and then I'm going to start getting ready for my son's baseball game. Got a question over on YouTube asking if there's any news on a tornado threat. I just briefly covered that, but again, I see the threat of tornadoes diminishing as we go, on, and the storms become more organized. I'll say the threat is not zero, but we're starting out with a very low threat. And just to kind of demonstrate, we do see some stronger storms over here at the Alabama-Mississippi line with 2¼ inch hail. Up here around Kentucky, we see some 2-inch hail, 2¼ inch hail reports. 1.7 inch hail over, near La Follette, Tennessee. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I know Tennessee, we've got our own pronunciations for everywhere. And if you're not from there, you don't know it. But other than up around Spring City and, Melvin, Tennessee, we don't have any other threats currently in our area. But this is, a pretty good chance of, right now it's saying 1-inch hail. I would say there's probably larger hail, so max hail size demonstrated by the radar is going to be 1.5 inches, but it's got 100% chance of hail occurring within that cell by the analysis of the radar. So what will be happening in Dunlap? So right now, there's not much going on. It's just kind of raining. Dunlap, in a couple of hours, you'll be seeing these storms move in from the west. Probably for you around 10 p.m. Actually, that'll be 9 p.m. because that's in Central Time Zone. Jade, I mean, there's no need for a lot of weakening right now because there's nothing really heading directly for your area. But, you know, the severity of storms coming in, the more organized they are, sometimes that influences stronger gusts of winds, but it also kind of takes away from the ability for it to produce larger hail. Walker County looking tonight. Walker County, you're in the same threat as the rest of us. Uh, evening storms with a possibility of some larger hail developing. Very spotty, isolated storms at the moment, and then as things go on, the storms producing more of a severe wind threat, which probably most likely these storms are going to stay around 60 mile per hour with the gusts, but we may have one get up closer to 70 miles per hour. For North Bradley County, I mean, that's difficult to tell. I would say the more organized storm system is going to move into northern Bradley County closer to around 11 p.m. So, right now I'm not seeing any larger threat, but I've really kind of said a lot of what I've already posted in my text update this morning and the timing update this afternoon. Um, but I know some people like the video updates as well. So while we had a storm with a severe thunderstorm warning up here around Bledsoe County and Ray County, I wanted to go ahead and jump on and give a video update as well. If you are just joining in and you didn't really hear the conditions update that I gave and kind of timing and looking at the models, I'm getting ready to end the stream. You can go back and rewatch that. So I'll post this up in the pinned comment area of the weather group on Facebook. So, well, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And if conditions do pop up that I think is going to be threatening, I will update by text. I'm going to be over around the old Harrison Elementary area at the Harrison ball fields this evening for my son's baseball game. So sometimes signal's a little spotty around there, but I'll do whatever I have to. I'll make sure that I can get a update and a message out, and I'll still have good data to check the radar for you. So, well, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, and again, it would be best to prepare things for some possible hail making its way through. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.